Howdy folks, Singing Toad here. Thank you very much for watching my video today, and I hope you're having an absolute blissful day. Folks, I got a brand new knife in that came to me as a gift from Mark Young. He is a fantastic Canadian YouTuber. He has an awesome channel. He's an avid outdoorsman, does all kinds of outdoor related things, gear reviews, knife reviews, you name it. If it's outdoors related, he does it, and he's just an absolute wealth of knowledge and an absolute pleasure to watch. Mark already did do his own video on this knife, and I highly recommend you check it out. I will put a link down in the description to his video, and I invite you to check that out, and I also invite you to subscribe to his channel because he's worth watching, and he's very, very knowledgeable and entertaining. So thank you once again, Mark, for sending this knife along to me. I'm super thankful for it. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the knife. So this is what the box looks like. That's what that side looks like. That's the opposite side. Nothing on that end, nothing on the bottom. And then on this side, it has Armiger 480 CRV and black clip. So let's go ahead and open up the box. And we have the knife inside the box. And there's nothing else inside the box. Now, I did not purchase this knife, so I don't know if it comes with any additional paperwork. But this is the way it came. So let's go ahead and just take it out of the packaging here. And there is the knife itself. And I think it's really cool. It's got Demko Knives written right there. And it has kind of like this topographic sort of look here on the sheath. There are screws here, so you can take this off completely, or you can adjust wherever you want it to be. Or you could have it down here. I mean, you could have it mounted this way if you wish. Or you could put these screws anywhere in here if you wanted to. The sheath is set up for MOLLE compatibility from what I understand. And it does have this Velcro and button right here to make it easy for you to put it on and off of gear, or on and off of your belt without having to take your belt off, which is a feature I really, really like. It does have a button clasp right here, but you know, the knife is held in very securely here. It's not going to fall out, so even if you decided to take this off and then just say mount this to the side of your ATV or to you know, your backpack or whatever, you know, the knife isn't going to just come flying out because it is securely held in there, and it does require you to press with your thumb to get it to come out, which I'll now show you. So here's the knife itself, and you can see there's oil still on it. I left the oil on because I didn't want to take that off for this video here. I'm going to wipe that off shortly here, but that oil did come on it, and it's good to see because 80 CRV is a carbon tool steel, and it will rust if it's not looked after, but I'm just going to go ahead and just clean that off right now, and when I put the knife away for storage, I will simply put more on, but just so that it's not going to get oil all over myself while I'm handling the knife in the video here, and it's not going to create shiny spots. But there we go, Armiger 4, and of course on this side, 80 CRV to Taiwan. Now 80 CRV2. That's a tongue twister, folks. This is a steel that's new to me, but I've done some research, and from what I understand, it is a low alloy tool steel. It has very high toughness. It was originally used for saw blades, and it's easy to work with, and that's why it's preferred by a lot of knife makers. So there's a lot of knife makers, you know, custom knife makers working in this steel because it's easy to work with, and it can be heat treated really well, and depending on how you heat treat it, how you tweak the heat treat, you can either have it so it's got really good edge retention, you're going to lose a little bit of toughness, or you can have really good toughness and not so great edge retention. So it depends on what the knife maker wants to do. But that's just my basic understanding of the steel. However, there's a great video by Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and I'm also going to put that down in the video description too, that where they talk about 80 CRV steel and really explain it better than I can explain it to you. So I'm going to invite you to check that video out as well if you don't know that steel, and if you're like me and you're new to it. And by the way, I did watch that video myself, and it's a great video. One other thing I wanted to quickly mention is it's got this jimping right here and right here, and it's on the same side of the spine. So the cool thing is, because the sheath has, you know, you can put the knife in either way. It doesn't matter which way you insert the knife into the sheath. You know when you go to draw the knife, you always know where the blade is, because the jimping will indicate the side that has the spine. So if you know the jimping is here, you know the blade is this way, and that's kind of cool. So even if in the dark you're feeling around for your knife, maybe it's in the bottom of a bag, and you need to draw the knife real quick, as long as you can feel this jimping, you know the blade is the opposite way, which is really, really cool. And that's a feature I'm very happy to see. And again, there's more oil showing back up on the blade. The handle's made of this rubberized-like material. I love the feeling of it. You know, it's gently textured, and it is contoured, and it kind of swells out here at the end. Does have a lanyard hole. Does have a little metal protrusion at the end. I believe this knife is full tang. I can't really tell just by looking at it, but I believe it is a full tang construction. But sharpness out of the box, that's alright. Let's see if we can test that sharpness. So just have my little notepad here. So as you see, it cuts paper. That's satisfactory for most people's sharpness out of the box. Let's see, can it shave? I don't know how well this will show. I'm going to do the redneck sharpness test. It is shaving hair, but only ever so slightly. And I'm sorry, folks, I know that's kind of gross. I know some people think that hair shaving tests are disgusting. But, you know, it's my hair, not yours, so deal with it. You know, it was kind of tugging and pulling, so it's not quite hair-popping sharp. But I haven't even stropped this knife or anything, folks. This is exactly how it came out of the box, the way it came to me, the way Mark sent it to me. So, you know, that edge is, as best to my knowledge, a factory edge. So I can't really give it too much trouble for that. Because a lot of times factory edges have little micro burrs on them, and once you strop them, they actually become a lot sharper, is generally my experience with most knife manufacturers. But yeah, I really like the feeling of this thing in my hand, and it's got good balance to it. Like, that's the balance point. Whoops. Of course, it doesn't want to balance because my hands are shaking. I just had it a second ago, and now I'm going to make a fool of myself. There we go. So you can see it's balancing right there. You know, it's got a good balance point, and I just, you know, whether you reverse grip it, and this end pommel isn't too aggressive. You know, oftentimes with these knives, they're too aggressive, and they're actually sharp, and they're not pleasant. Like the one on the end of the Mora Garberg is a little sharp and unpleasant to put your thumb on, where this one isn't. 90-degree spine, so you would be able to strike a ferrocerium rod with this knife. So, yeah, pretty cool. I like it. So while I have it out, let's just do a couple quick size comparisons. And we might as well compare it against another black knife that I own, and that is the Cold Steel SRK. It looks so small in comparison to the SRK. And since I also have it out, and I mentioned it already, how about the Mora Garberg? And of course, while I'm doing this, I'll have some specs on the screen here for everyone to enjoy. But you can see how far that tang sticks out on the back of the Mora Garberg, you know, which isn't super pleasant. You know, to put your thumb on the end if you're, you know, really coming down with the knife, where this one's a lot gentler. How about a Vosteed Mini Nightshade and a Spyderco PM2. So there we go, just a couple quick size comparisons. Alright, so what else can I tell you about this knife? Well, right now this is just my first impressions unboxing video, folks. I've not really spent any time with it. I've not had any time to take this out and you know, and spend any time with it. My take on this is much like the Cold Steel SRK. This is kind of like a combat tactical kind of knife. You know, could it be used out in the wilderness? I'm sure it could be. It does have what appears to be a saber grind. I don't think I mentioned that. Yeah, that feels like a saber grind. So that feels like to me anyway. But I definitely think this knife could be used, you know, as a camp knife or anything of that nature. And I will be putting that to the test later on, once the weather gets nicer here. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, this is just a good kind of all-around knife. You know, it's not super big or too big, and this would also be good for someone with smaller hands too. I mean, my hand just barely gets all the way in there, but someone with smaller hands would definitely enjoy this better. And I could see someone with much larger hands would maybe not like this so much. But yeah, I think it's nice, cool, and I'm very happy to have it regardless. So thanks again, Mark, for sending this knife along to me, and thanks very much, folks, for watching. I'd like to know what your thoughts and opinions are. Please tell me down in the comments. I always enjoy engaging with everyone here. It just brightens up my day when you guys tell me what you think of stuff. Good or bad, I like to know. Anyway, thanks very much, my friends. Take care. This is Singing Toad signing out.